Hello, everybody, and welcome to Non Sequitur News for July 16th, 2025. It's Season 4, Episode 197. I am MayorWatt. I run ohmTown.com, but the Sentient AI isn't available today. We're going to talk about, and by we, I mean me, with all of you who might be listening to this either as the podcast or on Twitch or over on YouTube as a VOD somewhere. Thank you. Enjoy the show. We're going to talk about 3.5 million times faster than average. Tiny VR Treadmills, Rum Festival 2026, Amazon launched 30 years ago, Hootie Hoot goes mute, Bungie to re-record Destiny 2 lines, Fyre Festival, Fyre sale, sold, Belkin says you don't own that, not entirely, not in perpetuity, and well, it's not yours anymore. And unfortunately, something that I've been wanting to go to for the last couple of years, I want to go to Tomorrowland Music Festival, but its main stage burned down pretty much in a few hours. It was a real bummer. Anyway, and Ocelots and Opossums going for a beer. Everything's powered by ohmTown.com. That's that site right there. Oh, right there. And go over there and sign up or sign in. It helps me aggregate my information into 6 main categories, 50 channels. We're slowly growing it and considering publicly launching the 55 channels. That said, 6 of them are turned into weekly podcasts that launch on Saturday and Sunday. Not launch, but they drop a new episode every Saturday and Sunday. And one is a daily. That's Non Sequitur News. That's this show, but sometimes my mayoral duties keep me from being present in real time. So that's why I created a time machine in partnership with the Sentient AI, which is right there. But that's their visualizer. They're not available again. Anyway, we'll see you on the other side of this. All right, let's get into it. The very first article is over in WarCrafters. I think it's because of the source, PC Gamer. Well, Japanese researchers achieve 1.02 billion megabit per second internet speed over a 1,123 mile line. That's 3.5 million times faster than the average US connection and a hell of a lot quicker than the authors or mine. Team of researchers led by the, take a deep breath here, they say this in the little snippet that's provided by the source. Photonic Network Laboratory at the National Institute of Information and Communication Technology in Japan. They've announced a successful test. Let's see, of the world's first successful petabit class internet transmission over 1,000 kilometers. It's a lot of words, which essentially mean new mega fast internet connection tested over long distance, and it worked. Oh, and you can, it says plumb me in right now, if you like, as in like plumbing them, because it's a series of tubes and you can only put so much water in said tubes. It says log in to reply right above my head in the stream. That's kind of funny. I don't know why it's funny to me, but it is. Anyway, the source is over at PC Gamer. Oh, and if you want today's show notes, you can hit !NSN and Omatron will spit the articles out in the order that we are going over them. Bump. There you go. All 10. So Andy Edzer over at PCGamer.com put this article together. The deck statement says, plug me in. Yeah, this is pretty amazing. They say, actually, the idea of running one over existing network isn't quite as far-fetched as you might think via a CNET article. The incredibly fast speeds equating to 1.02 billion megabits, 3.5 times faster than, million times faster than your average US broadband service. They were achieved in a new design of fiber optic cable with 19 cores, which ends up being the same thickness as regular fiber optic cables currently in use. Takes some specialized equipment. Yeah. An optical amplification system was used in combination with a system of signal combiners and splitters to send signals 21 times through a recirculating loop, which is where that 1,123 mile line figure comes from. So it's a simulation of that distance. The researchers say that when converted to the product of transmission capacity and distance, which is a common measure of transmission capability, it is 1.86 exabits per second kilometer. Pretty amazing. They say here that they're going to do the unjournalistic type thing of taking their word for it here as my eyes continually glaze over around the middle of that sentence. Yeah, it just goes real fast. Make me go fast. Next article is over in the RealityHacker channel. It's one of our weekend shows, just like WarCrafters is. WarCrafters is on Sunday. RealityHacker is the first show on Saturday. Free aim motorized shoes give your tiny VR, your feet tiny tree. Oh my gosh, let me back that up. Free aim motorized shoes give your feet tiny VR treadmills, and there's a Kickstarter now, fully funded. Yeah, I don't know how these are going to work out. They seem so silly. Free aim VR shoes. You basically strap your feet into these things, and there are wheels on it, and it calculates your location based on the trajectory of your wheels, the velocity of your wheels, in correlation and coordination with your other VR equipment. So VR treadmills are usually pretty costly and bulky, which mean that they mostly appeal to enterprise, and actually that's where the developers of that technology want the money, because it's either leased and at high cost or it's sold and at high cost. But either way, they're getting more money immediately than trying to get a reasonable amount from the sale, which may never happen because it's so expensive to make virtual treadmills. I don't know though, with what is it called? Oh, it's like a bowl and you stand in the middle of it and you have really slippery shoes, but VR sensors are on your limbs. And so it knows when you're walking, but you don't go anywhere. You just kind of slip and slide inside this little half a hamster wheel, or have a hamster ball, I should say. So it's like a salad bowl and you run inside it, but all you do is slip and slip and slip. It's kind of neat idea, but it just seems so steampunk, like so just so mechanical and I don't know. It's like a clunky steam engine instead of something 21st or 22nd century. Anyway, so free aim. It's over at roadtovr.com. Scott Hayden put the article together. There's no deck statement other than free aim motorized shoes this is the title, gives your feet tiny VR treadmills. There's a video. I'm going to hit play. There has been some concern about this, by the way, where people are getting takedown notices because of VR. Professor of Rock got burnt out with it. Rick Beato put a video out as well. I've been talking about this for years. Didn't get much at all for traction, but I'm not a million user or a million follower or influencer or anything kind of a person. I talk about the news. I talk about a very broad spectrum of news. I'm not highly focused. It's just not my nature. But I find it compelling to talk about a broad spectrum of things. And one of those things has always been the fact that no matter what I do, I can't talk about music. I can't play any music. I have two shows that I want to start up. One called Mix War, where you take samples of music and you make your own music. And Smash or Trash, which is a show that is all about playing music and talking about it. Yet every time I try and record something, it gets a takedown notice because it's a VOD. And that is the biggest issue, that replay isn't allowed because you have to have a synchronization license. I'm covered by the licensing for playing the music, but I can't. It's so frustrating. Anyway, I don't know how I got here from there, but I got here because I've been playing a video, and this video although it's fair use, this video could have my video taken down, and maybe even a strike. It really depends on like what the claim is. But it's pretty ridiculous because I'm talking about the material, and that is apparently not good enough. No value add is good enough. No, nothing is good enough. If they don't want you talking about the music, if they don't want you talking about the video, then it's no longer considered fair use. And instead of them having to prove that it isn't fair use, they can make the claim, and then I have to prove that it's fair use. And the only way that they accept any discussion is legalese. And it's up to the claimant to say, yeah, okay, we'll consider it fair use, and they have to pull back the claim. YouTube won't do it. Anyway, sorry to get distracted. This is Non Sequitur News. Everything is connected. You can see how just that simple video ties me to some big movement that's brewing right now. But it's one of those kind of told you so moments, because people have been talking about it, including me, for years and years now. And it never got any traction until now. But I am so burnt out because I paid for years for licensing. And it didn't actually qualify me for anything because the sync license wasn't there. You have to get each individual artist to approve. Anybody that's involved with it, you have to get it in writing. Anyway, these VR shoes, it says its VR Shoes Lite model is more affordable alternative, which notably lacks automatic rotation, requiring an external support frame to ensure user stability. FreeAim has developed two such optional support frames, the Hex and the Swivel, designed to offer users additional balance and spatial guidance, particularly when starting out. So I love the idea of this. It's basically a portable VR treadmill, but it's your shoes. Now they say via the Kickstarter, VR Shoes Lite costs $1,079, and the advanced cost $1,400. So while it's much less expensive than a full-on treadmill, it's still expensive for VR equipment. All right, the next article is over in Distilleris. New York Rum Festival shares 2026 date. I can't wait for this. I actually have a pirate on my arm because that is my spirit animal. On the heels of its most recent showcase, the New York Rum Festival has announced that it will return to Brooklyn next June, hosted by the Rum Lab. Next year's New York Rum Festival will once again be held at 100 Sutton Studios in Brooklyn. The event will take place on 13 June 2026, with tickets going on sale July 16th. What? Oh, today. The tickets are on sale today. So cool. I'll have to go and look to see if it's worth going to this or just starting up something local. Got a lot of got a lot of distilleries in the area, and one distillery can make rum just as well, not necessarily just as good as the next. Anyway, rum is my favorite. Like some people like some type of whiskey. I like rum. I don't know. It's just, there's something about rum that I really like. Maybe it is the mystique of the historical impact of piracy, and they were rum drinkers. And I even have a brand that I want to start up that is centered around rum. And anyway, they were able to sample more than 200. Okay, so hundreds of rum lovers, trade professionals, bartenders, and content creators came together in June. They were able to sample more than 200 rum expressions, which I always hate that phrase, but expressions, that word, I guess, from countries like Fiji, Australia, Reunion Island, which is amazing, a tiny little place, makes its own rum, Spain, Venezuela, Martinique, and Jamaica. Jamaican rum is, to me, it's pretty damn good. So, but I like canoe rum is really good. So there was a spotlight of new emerging brands as well. So over at thespiritsbusiness.com, Ted Simmons put the article together. I would love to go to this as well. We'll end up talking about Tomorrowland as well, but these are places that I want to go, things that I want to do. We'll see. Maybe next year. It depends on what happens with the economy. There's a spotlight on new emerging brands as well, such as Neon Silver from Japan, Jumar from Ecuador, Bacanguaro from Colombia, and E. Leon Jimenez from the Dominican Republic. The Rum Lab will reveal more details on next year's programming, guest speakers, and participating brands in the coming months, but tickets are on sale now. Seminar this year was highlighting things like a history of Australian rums, the spirit of Haiti and Providence, the Navy rum blend reimagined, the art of time, female leadership in the rum industry, and where am I? Rum or aguardiente? I don't know what that one is. All right, I'll have to look into it after the show. The next article is over in Non Sequitur News. Amazon launched 30 years ago with one product, and now it's an empire that sells everything and a lot of junk. I'm going to go straight on over to the article. It's at Business Insider. Alex Bitter and Catherine Lee put the article together. Yeah, so Amazon started with one product. I don't know if it's one product or one product line. Amazon Books started out as Earth's biggest bookstore, and now it's, I think, maybe short of China's version of Amazon, Alibaba. And maybe Amazon is the biggest. So the biggest name in e-commerce got its start 30 years ago. Wednesday, Amazon launched on July 16th, 1995. Back then, there were no Whole Foods at AWS, Prime Day, or most of the other things. It was a horrible website. But early visitors to the website were greeted with welcome to Amazon.com books and the promise of being able to order from 1 million titles, according to a screenshot. Customers could also sign up for email notifications of new book releases or peruse a daily selection of recommended books, according to the screenshot. What everyday thing do you consume now that would be the focus of a site or service where it could grow like this? Started out being books. Books are so humdrum, mundane, everyday kind of, meat and potatoes kind of a thing. But for it to just explode and grow and grow and grow, it's amazing, right? So at the end of 2024, by contrast, the company had about 1.5 million full and part-time employees. Bezos got the idea for selling books while working in finance in New York City in the early 1990s. After making a list of about 20 items that he could sell online, Bezos picked books because there were more varieties of books than any other type of product, he said in a 1997 interview. At the time, Bezos' estimates were that there were about 3 million books in print, about half of which were in English, far more than any brick and mortar store could carry. When you have that many items, you could literally build a store online that couldn't exist any other way. Yep. Well, that's how I feel about something that I'm going to try and launch, but we will see. I have so many ideas in my head. I've always been this way. But I flinch at partnerships nowadays. Anyway, let's keep going. The next article is over on Rounders Gear. Hootie's Hoot goes mute, says this a casino website, but casino.org. Darius Rucker abruptly ended his July 12th show at the Hard Rock and Casino in Atlantic City, casino.org has learned, when his voice unexpectedly blew out. He told his audience, "Y'all, I can't sing anymore after only 3 songs. I'll play one more song. I promise you we're going to figure this out. This never happened. I physically can't sing." The 59-year-old Hootie and the Bluefish singer, who went country with his first album in 2000, or solo album in 2008, then sang his biggest crossover hit, his 2013 cover of Wagon Wheel, but required assistance from the audience to sing before calling it a night. So despite promising, "I will make this up to you somehow," from the stage, Rucker had to cancel the show instead of reschedule it, breaking the news to his fans on his Instagram account. He says, "I feel awful. I'm so sorry. I've never lost my voice in all my years performing. We looked into every option to reschedule, but unfortunately, it's just not possible this year, so we're issuing full refunds. The venue will send details to you directly." It was the 3rd show in a 45-date international tour for Rucker. Oh no. Well, I hope he's okay. Because this is just a day ago. So, right. I mean, this was the July 12th show. So I haven't heard anything yet about what might be going on. There's no updates, I suppose. Anyway, go over to casino.org like I'm about to, because that's how this works. We show a little snippet. We talk about it for a little bit. We go over to the website, talk about it some more. Corey Levitan over at casino.org put the article together. There's no deck statement, but there is more information over here, and I'll let you go over and check it all out. I don't read everything on the article. I don't follow the knock-on links from the article, and I kind of summarize a little bit and give you my opinion of things. It's too bad. I mean, 59 years old, been singing all of his life, pivoted in 2013 or in 2008 to country solo, and now I hope that everything is okay. Let me tell you, man, these little taps by nature and mortality remind you that you're still a human, even if you're a juggernaut. Just kind of crossing over that kind of a thing in ohmTown. So the next article is over in WarCrafters. Bungie says it's actively re-recording some voice lines for Destiny 2, The Edge of Fate, after fans notice one of the game's best-known heroes suddenly sounds like one of its most notorious villains. So Destiny 2, The Edge of Fate is out today. That's between the 15th and the 16th. And there were a few emergent issues on Bungie's radar. So far, it seems to be going pretty well, which is nice. Some players were surprised by one seeming change, though. The voice of Ikora Rey and Warlock Vanguard seem a little off. There's a reason for that, as it turns out, and it'll be changed back soon enough. Anyway, Bungie explained today that the whole thing tracks back to a May update in which the studio said that some voice talent has been unavailable. So the article is by Andy Chalk over at PC Gamer. Actors Ikora Rey and other characters weren't available prior to last week, so Bungie had to do some quick recasting. So it wasn't specified in the announcement, but the lack of availability was probably the result of the SAG-AFTRA strike, which previously deemed Destiny 2 heresy when it went live in February. The strike officially ended last week as performers who'd been on the picket line for more than a year ratified a new agreement. Yep. The next article is over in Late Night Geeks. The rights to Fyre Festival sold on eBay. And we talked about this prior to the culmination of the auction, but apparently they sold for $245,000. Billy McFarland says here in the article, the fraudster who brought you Fyre Festival has sold the rights to the brand on eBay. Talk about falling into a pile of poo and coming out smelling like a rose. I know somebody in my life that is perpetually lucky, a hard worker, but still perpetually lucky. I could fall into a garden of roses and come out smelling like poo. Anyway, we do not know yet who the buyer is or what they plan to do with such cursed IP, but TechCrunch put the article together. It's over at techcrunch.com. Amanda Silberling put the article together. It sold for $245,300. And this is Fyre Festival, the thing that had like bologna sandwiches for people at an event. Pretty wild. $1,400. He tried organizing a second Fyre Festival, which was supposed to take place this summer in Mexico, with tickets ranging from $1,400 to $1.1 million. Yeah, didn't quite work out. The second Fyre Festival never happened. Playa del Carmen, the Mexican city where McFarland said the festival would take place, claimed that there had been not any record of planning or for the event, and they didn't have a permit. So McFarland denied this, but announced a few weeks later that he would sell the Fyre Festival brand. Yeah, just cut your losses there, buddy. It says here the eBay auction says that a portion of the sale proceeds will go toward restitution, but McFarland owes $26 million. So this is a drop in the bucket. There's more over here at this article. Go over and check it all out. The next article is going to draw your ire. It's over in Non Sequitur News, but it's from Tech Dirt. So I love TechDirt's writing and their categorization. There's always a new department. This one here, it says, Belkin bricks most Wemo smart home devices, demonstrating you don't own what you buy. And I hope that this is the consumer rights have always been really bad without government oversight and impact. And I just don't see that happening anymore. So I don't know how this is going to get resolved, but we have to stop this. When we buy software, we buy the software. We don't buy it for a limited term use until the company decides that their business model has been negatively impacted by stagnant sales. So they just kill the freaking game and then spin up a new one. And I've been personally impacted several times, but most notoriously, Ticket to Ride had their own business practice, whatever it was, the terms of their processes failed them. And then by proxy, they failed all of the consumers. You cannot play Ticket to Ride in a network environment because you can't connect to anybody anymore. You have to buy the new version of it, and that new version is shit. Well, anyway, Belkin reminds me of this because they just bricked some equipment. Belkin and Ring did that to me too. When it got acquired, they basically shit on all of the cameras that I had. So anyway, Belkin is the latest company to painfully demonstrate that you no longer own what you buy, and the whims of corporate executives can often leave you with a very expensive paperweight. Like I'm waiting for my laser to just go dead because the company decides that they don't want to have that particular model still in existence. In a recent statement to customers, Belkin says that it will no longer be providing support for software updates for the company's Wemo smart home devices starting in the new year. About 27 affected devices on sale for the last 10 years or so will no longer receive security updates, work on the smart home assistant services like Alexa, or be controllable via the app. But if it's still working, this is what I don't get. It's because they're not impacted by it. So they just go, okay, we're not making any money off of them, so we're going to just turn it off. The article is the Not So Smart Home Department over at techdirt.com. Carl Bode put the article together. They say, we understand this change may disrupt your routines and we sincerely apologize for the inconvenience. No, give me a refund. It's unjust enrichment. You've stolen my money by taking back a product that's supposed to function as purchased in perpetuity. You should not have the ability to just turn off something unless you give me a solution so that I can run it continuously. I mean, that's why I'm so bent out of shape about this stuff. You know, my car had the same thing. Something that I had been using for years suddenly gets disabled because they want $5 a month for the service. My car was wireless, app controlled. I could sit there and start it and adjust certain things. And now I have to pay money. I think it's $10 a month. Anyway, the writing had at least been on the wall for observant consumers. Belkin stopped selling most smart home tech in late 2023, shifting to focus game console accessories. Well, it's going to happen to you again over in the game consoles. You might have noticed, and I'm sure that it was going to get purchased. They've probably, sold off a portion of the home automation side of things, and now the terms are up, and so they are just going to kill it. This tendency toward breaking perfectly functional electronics is fairly terrible for the environment as well, they say here in this article. But hey, if you're not going to care about the human, you're definitely not going to care about the planet, for crying out loud. Anyway, it's sociopathy and it's driven by MBAs, and I'm an MBA and I don't even feel this way. I would never advise a company to shit on the older working technology. I may say to customers, hey, your stuff is going to run, but we're not going to update it anymore except for security patches, and it'll keep on running in perpetuity. It's not going to be the latest and greatest because it can't support the latest and greatest, but you will have working products until it fails. We can't support it anymore. There's always an end of life on technology, but to just turn off software patches is absurd. I mean, invest in your product and get brand loyalty by doing so, but that's not what happens. At some point, though, everybody does need to realize that you have to move forward because the technology is kind of falling behind, and you can't retroactively update hardware. You can only update software. Anyway, pretty amazing, and it's only going to get worse because the rise of sociopathy is legit. All right, this next article is over in the Mobile Channel. Tomorrowland Music Festival main stage burns to the ground days before opening. And Tomorrowland right now is actually underway. It started yesterday, and it's still going. But they've got a scaled down version of the main stage, and behind the screens is the burned down stage. It was about like 85-90% complete, I guess. On social media, footage has gone viral of the structure being completely on fire and engulfed by smoke, and you could see it slowly creeping down the whole main stage. It's very sad. It's been reported that roughly 1,000 staff members were on site at the time of the blaze, but no injuries have been reported. Fireworks basically exacerbated whatever was going on there. Something lit something on fire. Eventually, it crept into the firework display. Stephen Andrew Gallagher put the article together. I think from now on, the fireworks are going to have to be in fire safes. Like the containers in which they are deposited will have to survive being engulfed in flames for a longer period of time, because it looked like a fireworks show after a certain amount of time. All right, well, Tomorrowland Music Festival main stage is scheduled to be held in Belgium in just 2 days' time from the 15th, 16th. And so it actually started for me in the future. For you here on the 16th, it did not. The Tomorrowland Festival's main stage burned to the ground. Again, Stephen Andrew Gallagher put the article together over at Vice.com. And yeah, there's a little snippet of the video where the stage is just completely gone. Like 80% of the stage is gone. It's really sad. Statement concluded, we're focused on finding solutions for the festival weekend. More updates and details in detailed information will be communicated as soon as possible. Given the maximum space to do their work, people's safety is their top priority. We advise people experiencing odor nuisance to close their windows and doors and stay out of the smoke. Yeah, I agree. It's nature. So the event draws almost 400,000 visitors annually and was set to welcome over 70,000 attendees just this Friday, today, for me in the future. Some of the headline performers included lineup French DJ David Guetta, a Belgian DJ Charlotte de Witt, and Dutch DJ Martin Garrix. At this time, it's unclear if the festival will continue as planned, and based on what I've seen, it has. They're streaming right now on YouTube. And like Radio 1 or something like that. I can't remember what it was. All right. And our last article is over in the Mobile Channel. Video reveals an unlikely bond between ocelots and opossums in the Amazon, walking together like old friends. Yeah, they're going out to get a beer. Yep. Ocelots and opossums going for a beer. This is the article over here at SmithsonianMag.com. Sarah Hashemi put the article together. Researchers working in the Peruvian Amazon have discovered an unusual partnership between an ocelot and an opossum because they were recorded as just kind of hanging out. Though the species are sometimes predator and prey, these individuals moved at a relaxed pace, like two old friends walking home from a bar. Oh my God, I didn't read the article before the show. It says Isabel Damas Moreri, a behavioral ecologist at Bielefeld University in Germany, and senior author of the study, to Clarissa Brinket at the New York Times. So this is over at Smithsonian Magazine, smithsonianmag.com, so you can see information exchanges. Anyway, this suggests that such interspecific associations are likely non-random events, the team writes in a paper published late last month in the journal Ecosphere. Yeah, kind of interesting. So they found that some had also witnessed this behavior, an opossum moving across the forest with an ocelot not too far behind. In total, they gathered 4 examples of this odd partnership from different locations between 2019 and 2023. So there's a video of this. And so, yeah, there's a possum walking along, and then the ocelot is maybe 2 steps behind it. Pretty amazing. The researchers also set up an experiment to better understand the relationship between the two animals. They placed fabric strips with the scent of an ocelot, puma, or a control in front of the cameras. The possums showed a clear attraction to the ocelot scent. At least 5 to 7 individuals made a total of 12 visits to it, and they would even rub, sniff, or bite the fabric. They mostly ignored the other strips, visiting the puma scent only once. But the ocelot one, it's hot. It's very in season this year in the Amazon. Order it from the Amazon. Anyway, we're going to make like an ocelot back to the front page of ohmTown.com, where you should go and sign up or sign in. And I'm going to get out of here. The time machine is all warmed up. So gotta go. See you in a little bit. Bye-bye, everybody.